Here's a very interesting little paragraph from some of the works of Swami Vivekananda, some notes from Lectures and Discourses in Volume 5 of his complete works. And it's a beautiful notion that kind of helps us understand this idea of unity and really an understanding that all of life is spiritual, all of life is worship, no matter how it's packaged. So let me just read from some of the works of Swamiji here. As soon as we react, we become slaves. A man blames me, and I immediately react in the form of anger. A little vibration which he created made me a slave. So we have to demonstrate our freedom. They alone are the sages who see in the highest, most learned man, or the lowest animal, or the worst and most wicked of mankind, neither a man nor a sage nor an animal, but the same God in all of them. Even in this life they have conquered relativity, and have taken a firm stand upon this equality. God is pure, the same to all. Therefore, such a sage would be a living God. This is the goal toward which we are going, and every form of worship, every action of mankind, is a method of attaining to it. The man who wants money is striving for freedom, to get rid of the bondage of poverty. Every action of man is worship, because the idea is to attain freedom, and all action, directly or indirectly, tends to that. Only those actions that deter are to be avoided. The whole universe is worshiping, consciously or unconsciously. Only it does not know that even while it is cursing, it is another form of worshiping the same God that it is cursing, because those who are cursing are also struggling toward this freedom. They never think that in reacting from a thing, they are making themselves slaves to it. It is hard to kick against the goads. So this searching for freedom, boy, that's something I really like. I love that notion of freedom, absolute freedom. You know, I think of it, of course, in those cliched ways, like watching a bird fly, or, you know, just not having to get up and go to work, or having all of your free time. And yet all of those are still forms of bondage, you know, because they are requirements on something external to find our joy. It's interesting, you know, I had a conversation with Swami Prabhupada many years ago about taking drugs. At that time, I think it was Houston Smith had put out a book on drugs and spirituality. And so I talked to Swami. I said, well, what do you think, Maharaj? You know, these taking drugs and getting these ecstatic experiences, is there any value in it? And, you know, I was kind of expecting a typical religious answer toward it, of saying, you know, no, those are trash and stay away from them. I was quite surprised, because he actually said to me that, yes, there is some validity in it, that we can experience some of these higher states through the use of drugs. But he said, you see, that is not the ideal. Our ideal is freedom. And if we have to use something external to ourselves in order to reach our desired state, we are beholden to that external whatever, be it drugs or partying or, you know, rock and roll, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That anything external to ourselves that we need in order to be content or to be happy is a form of slavery. We will be owned by it eventually. And really, most of our morality is centered around that. You know, the longings of our body, we become beholden to them. We're no longer in charge of them. They cause in us a certain desperation over time. And so this quest for freedom, that is religion. And freedom itself is another name of the beloved.